2025 meeting of the Sandusky City Commission will have an invocation offered by Commissioner Kuntz, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
We come to you humbly today, giving you thanks for all that you continue to do in our lives. We want to thank you for another day in the land of the living. But more importantly, we want to thank you for giving us the sense, giving us the patience to guide this community. Give us the strength, give us the wisdom, and give us the patience to continue to do your work and in your will. Amen.
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 I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Murray, will you call the roll?
Ms. Vargo?
Here.
Mr. Waddington?
Here.
Mr. Brady?
Here.
Mr. Murray?
Here.
Mr. Bajali?
Here.
Mr. Kuntz?
Here.
Mr. Crable?
Here.
Commissioner, do you have before the minutes of our meeting of May the 12th, 2025? What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner
I
Waddington.
move that we accept the minutes of the May 12th meeting as presented.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Without objection, the motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that motion is approved. Tonight, we have a presentation on our property inventory survey that will be conducted by Matt Zone, the Senior Vice President and Director of Thriving Communities. Mr. Zone, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If it's okay, I'm going to ask my colleague, Adrian Marti, to stand next to me because he'll actually walk through the presentation. Mr. Chairman, honorable members, commission members, city manager, as well as people from the administration, it's my honor to be before you to share a little bit about the work of the Western Reserve Land Conservancy. We are the largest land conservation organization in Ohio, one of the largest in the country. We're unique in the fact that not only do we conserve natural area lands in more ex-urban or rural communities, we also have robust programs in urban centers like Sandusky. We're the largest land conservation organization that's conserved farms and agriculture. You know, it's one of the key resources of our state, and so we are unique in that respect. I'm no stranger to local government. I'm an urban planner by practice, but I also served in local government for 19 years as a member of Cleveland City Council, and in 2017 had the high honor of being the president of the National League of Cities, which represents all local governments throughout the United States. We're here to talk about the property inventory. We're really excited to work with you. I brought one copy, Director Gilson, in 2015 we conducted a property inventory report for the city of Sandusky, so I'd like to hand it to you, Mr. Chairman. And we will make that available to anyone who'd like to see it as well. I believe it's certainly on our website. But, you know, property inventory work is so important, and I want to applaud your city for being proactive. Property inventory work, particularly for, you know, residents or constituents who are listening online or in the audience today, this is really not a punitive approach to surveying your work. It's to help the city municipal leaders have a baseline of data to really understand what the condition of the property is, and then really work with your city manager and the administration on programs to really help properties that are distressed, to bring them up to code, and develop strategies on how you can help other property owners as well. Not only do we inventory every single parcel. So if it's vacant land, you're going to get a rating, you're going to get a photo, and Adrian's going to walk you through on what that looks like. But on individual, we will survey every residential, commercial, industrial property, every single parcel in the city of Sandusky. So I think at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Adrian Marti, who is our project manager and leads this work for us, and then save some opportunity for some questions from the commissioner members after. Adrian?
Thank you, Matt, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present on our project. As Matt said, every single parcel will be evaluated. All 13,000 parcels will be approached in this manner. So here is a surveyor, and you'll notice in the image, he did forget his vest. So they will be wearing these vests. So when you see people coming through with the property inventory vest, you'll know that they are a part of the project. And they're happy to answer any questions for you. The approach is with an iPad. And so this is collecting a photo. And we passed out the questionnaire. This is the questions that they will be evaluating. So it is focused on the building condition, but any situation that is happening on every single parcel will be evaluated with quality data. Here are some of the issues we will be focused on in terms of the building materials. And on June 10th and 11th, we'll be holding our training. And this is where we meet the excellent team that Director Gilson is forming. And then we will discuss everything in terms of all the information they need to evaluate every single variable. Here's an example from our project in the City of Alliance. This is really what happens when we move through all the data, actually check the data, make sure that it is up to standards, and then we will present the information to our data visualization team, where our GIS team at the Western Reserve Land Conservancy creates these maps, and then all the information will be yours to evaluate the findings. This is a moment that we had in Hamilton, Ohio during our survey, and it's just a great example of how important these surveys are, is that there's many things that you don't expect might be an issue that the property inventory will find. These were, we called them icicles because they were very small, slim parcels we kept finding. The city didn't understand the scale of this issue, and it later led to a policy initiative that they drafted because of our inventory. Dumping is a major issue in certain communities, and so this property inventory focuses on the condition of vacant lots, and we take in information about what situations are happening in terms of tires or anything that may be there. A lot of times there may be cars or boats, but we will get an image of that, and then it's real-time data that will be taken in. This is an example from the City of Cleveland, our 2023 property inventory. We're happy to think about city-specific issues. So this was a focus on out-of-state ownership, and we were seeing if the building materials were being taken care of by out-of-state owners at the same rate as local owners. And this is all done in partnership with Regrid, a mapping software company out of Detroit, Michigan. So all the GIS data is protected, cleaned, and we work with them to make sure that it is stored and safe. Here's Danielle from Euclid, our inner ring suburb property inventory, and such a huge part of this project is community engagement. So this is a moment where there's so many moments, residents will come out, ask us what's happening. We can explain that the city wants to know how the building stock is doing and kind of explain and take in any information in our notes section, which is a great resource for information and feedback from community members. Yeah, finally, here's Mayor Biv and Michael discussing actually the focus on lead. But it just, I love this image because it means so much about the partnerships we can build with communities. And finally, here's our information, and really happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.
Let me add a few more things.
Sure.
Honorable Commission members, just a couple of things that I neglected to share. We've done over 30 property inventories in the state of Ohio, as far down as south as Hamilton, just outside of Dayton, primarily in the northeastern Ohio footprint. The survey questions that you have in front of you, I'd encourage all commission members to look it over. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on other questions you'd like to see included in the data capture, please share those with your city manager and Director Gilson. We can incorporate them into the question. In the city of Cleveland, Mayor Bibb was very interested. Conversely, you have a city of about 13,000 parcels. Cleveland had 167,000 parcels. They wanted to know where dead trees were, the ADA ramps, were they compliant, were the conditions of curbs. So those are other things that we added, and we were able, like every parcel, to take multiple photos. So look over the questions and let us know not let us know, but work through the city manager and Director Gilson. Adrian mentioned about the real-time data. As we're doing this, particularly on the vacant lots, we will give access codes to the city manager and Director Gilson. So if in the event that there is vacant, like illegal dumping, they'll know in real time what parcels are. They'll have photo documentations of that as well. And happy to answer, Mr. Chairman, any questions that you or the commission members might have.
Mr. Zone, I think this is such a worthwhile undertaking. My question to you is, to me, it appears to be a massive undertaking. How long is this going to take you to do?
Yeah, we determined, we're going to have 6 surveyors plus our team, that each surveyor in a good day should touch about 100 parcels.
Okay.
So if we move expeditiously and we have fully staffed every day, we think we will finish your city in about 6 weeks. The other thing that we will do then probably for about 6 weeks is the quality control. Every single survey, say Mr. Brady is our surveyors and goes out and takes photos and enters all the information. We do quality control on our end, where we make sure that the right photos in the right parcel, the right data, the right questions were answered. Often we will catch mistakes, and we will then have surveyors go back out and do that. But we're hoping to give then a finished product with all the story maps and nice pictures and all that by the end of summer of this year. So then in the fall, lining up, kudos to you to just finishing a strategic plan, looking at kind of really the future and direction of this great city. This data will be really important. Baseline information will help inform the commission members on policy decisions moving forward.
Fabulous opportunity for us. And I can see, just by quickly leafing through what we have here and what we've had in the past, volumes of information that would, you say you're going to do it in 6 weeks, it would take me 60 years to do it.
Well, the nice thing too, Mr. Brady, that you're going to have is not only will you have the parcel, but we import other data that Regrid has. Adrian, why don't you talk about some of the other data that they'll have access to on the parcels?
Sure. Regrid has an excellent API update system. So it brings in sale information, owner information, zoning and land use codes, even structure details in terms of size and building footprint, along with area demographics. So really, a really comprehensive base information, but then with the property inventory data, that's when we can really get that real-time data to collect with that already existing data set.
Questions or comments, Commissioner? Commissioner Crable.
Yeah, just a quick question. How do you assure continuity between workers? In other words, let's just say roofing condition. I might look at a roof and give it an A grade, and Mr. Brady might look at it and give it a B grade. Okay, how do we assure that other than initial training?
Yeah, great question. So my team will be here on June 10th and 11th meeting, and so if you have any follow-up questions or you want work through Director Gilson, and we'd welcome any commission member to sit in and hear what we do. After we do about a day and a half of training, we go out into the field for a half a day. all the inspectors together, and we will talk about, to make sure that there is consistency, because you don't want irregularities in how people are grading it. And we're fairly confident, again, we've done nearly 30 of these, that through our extensive training processes, that there will be a baseline of consistency throughout the process. And again, Commissioner, is it Crable?
Crable.
If there are errors or omissions, every single parcel, when they're being uploaded, like in real time, we have a team of GIS specialists who are checking all the information to make sure that there is consistency about the board. And from time to time, we find irregularities. We go back out and re-inspect that property. So the end product will be something that the commission members will be proud of.
Additional comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Whiting.
when you go out to a property, what if I say, I don't like the survey, they can dispute it? Can they come back and say, I want somebody else to come back? And I understand you're taking pictures and looking at it, but what if I say, no, this isn't right?
Great question.
What's my option?
Yeah, Commissioner Waddington, I guess this is a policy decision for the commission members to make, but I will share this example in Cleveland Heights. A very engaged community, and somebody questioned the rating of a property. Again, this is just a baseline of data. A C grade was given. They felt their property was more important, and so the commission members, the council asked us if we would go and reevaluate that, which we did, and we modified the grade. But it's ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be a policy decision that the commission wants a member through the leadership of your city manager.
Mr. Bajali.
Mr. Chairman, the value of this information comes when we're applying for grants. I mean, that's going to really be important. How are you doing with finding employees to go out and do this? Maybe I should ask Holly.
Well, I'll defer that question to Director Gilson, but I will answer your first question, Mr. Pajali, Commissioner Pajali. That's correct, I pronounce it?
Yes.
Paisans know how to pronounce it.
Not many people get it right the first time.
The City of Alliance called me about a year and a half ago. Former acquaintance that you might know, used to be the former Ohio City Inc. director, and they were not in compliance with HUD because they had not done a property survey work in over a decade. So we went in there, we did this survey for that city, similar to your size, and it really helped them not only to come into compliancy with their representative from the Columbus Office of the Housing and Urban Development, but it future led them to applying for other grants because then they had real good data. I defer to Director Gilson on the hiring component question.
Thank you very much. For folks that have accepted their positions and they have gone through their background checks and have passed, and we made 2 additional conditional offers about 2 hours ago. So we have our team rounded out. I also do want to point out that Chief Planner Aaron Blair and I will also be joining the inspectors from time to time and going out and doing that work. We think it's important as staff members, specifically that engage with the community a lot through Community Development Department, be out there as well.
So, Mr. Chairman, so that means there's opportunity available for those who may want to do this kind of work?
Yes.
Okay. And just to comment, I remember back in 2015 when they had changed the legislation and the county was going to, it was a county land bank, and we were going to go with Flint, Michigan, I believe, Genesee County.
Genesee,
because they had a strong program. And Mr. Murray was a state representative, and he talked the county commissioners into just sit down and listen to this guy named Rakakis.
Yeah.
So he brought Jim Rakakis to town, and the rest is history. And Jim was great, and we did the first survey, and it turned out real good. So I got high hopes for this one also.
I appreciate you making that reference, and thank you, Commissioner Murray, for making that suggestion. I know I have big shoes to fill following one of my mentors in public service, Mr. Rakakis. But I would encourage that if any commissioner member is interested in doing a couple hours just to see what we're doing, boots on the ground on the street, let City Manager or Director Gilson know. We'd love to have you join us for the training so you can see how we're training up inspectors, so you're better informed as you communicate with your constituents.
Mr. Zone, should we anticipate perhaps a very small percentage of our residents feeling threatened in some way by this? I think we need to do some public relations work ahead of you to assure them that we're not turning this information over to the IRS or the auditor or something to raise their taxes.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I've been working closely with your city manager and Director Gilson and your communications director, Mr. Horsman. There is a communication component that has to be out there. People invariably will contact their commission member or their city manager and say, hey, what's going on? You see somebody outside my house taking a photo. It could be a little bit alarming. Part of the training, we try to educate the inspectors to be discreet, but don't be covert. Like, be out there in front, and like,
Sneak it around.
I mean, it's hard to be discreet when you're wearing one of these, and we encourage them because we disarm a lot of people when they do that. I will tell you, I was really proud of how our inspection team handled the situation, and I'll give you a real-life example. It was in an affluent part of Cleveland Heights. We had a young African-American individual who was taking photos of a house. A gentleman came out and had some unfavorable language. Adrian called me immediately. I called the mayor, and within an hour, they had a visit from the police department to have a conversation to say that that was inappropriate. Now, that is an extreme case, but these situations might come up. My team takes this very seriously. I interface directly with Adrian will troubleshoot. He's the nicest guy you're going to meet. You're going to love this guy. He knows how to disarm people better than anyone I know, but I interface directly with that. And then we have another individual, Isaac Robb, who will be leading our trainer. He's very good. So yes, will this happen? You're going to get a small percentage, but really the communication component on the front end, telling that this is very proactive, to gather a baseline of data. So it's not something punitive. We're not hauling people into housing court, next week or the week after. It's not going to happen. It's just informing all of you on how to govern your city better.
Sure. Additional comments?
Mr. Chairman. Just curious as to how many repeat customers you've had of all those 30. I mean, This has been an invaluable tool for the city for the last 10 years. As Commissioner Bajali points out, this has been invaluable in terms of applying for grants. But I think the public should also understand this is extremely important in terms of making sure that we fairly and efficiently apply the government resources that are available, always finite, and we always want to apply them in the best way possible. And it's a way for the public to hold us accountable. Without data, without good, solid, objective data, you can't hold government accountable. And this is exactly that. So the folks who are interested in making sure that we keep track of whether the city and its commissioners are doing a good job should be happy about the fact that we're doing this. In 8 months, I'll be sitting there like Mr. Poole in the back of the room, watching to make sure all of you here are doing a good job, and that this will be an important tool in making sure that we're doing that. So thank you.
First of all, a very insightful comment, Commissioner Member Murray, and we have had many frequent municipalities that have done this more than City of Lorraine has done it twice. The City of South Euclid twice. The City of Euclid twice. The City of Cleveland Heights twice. The City of Cleveland we did in 2015, 2018, began it in 2022 and finished in 23. They've done it 3 times. We're talking with other communities now. A big part of my work plan come this fall is I'm going to be visiting a lot of these other cities because we don't have the capacity to do 4 or 5 a year, but we do have the capacity to do 3. And so now we're getting inquiries from some of those cities. And again, kudos to the city of Sandusky's leadership for being visionary and thinking you'll have a baseline of data like what happened in 2015. Now you're going to have a baseline of data a decade later. Your city has changed. I mean, you're the best small city in America for a reason. It's because you care about the people you represent and you care about the assets that are in the city. This is going to better inform all of you as well.
Mr. Cribb.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A quick question. if we have databases that are also parcel specific, and one that quickly comes to mind is we've been doing work in terms of trying to identify lead water lines into properties. Can those data points be added to this database?
Good question. I'm not 100% certain, but I think because of the way we compile the data, we could. I'm going to defer that to Director Gilson as one of your follow-up to-dos to work with Isaac Robb on my team to make sure that we can do it. To your point about lead, the city of Cleveland was very concerned about that. So every structure that we took photos that had excessive peeling paint that we knew were older than 1978, they were able to get their own triage of employees to go out and do further inspections to make sure that they came into compliance. So I think really the way you approach this is limitless. When I was a city council member in 2015, after they did it in the city of Cleveland, I took every property that was rated B and C, not an A property. I was able to appropriate a little bit of discretionary dollars that I had, and we targeted homeowners and said, here, free paint program, here's opportunities to fix your gutter, and we were able to get over 60% voluntary compliance through just a little bit of help from the city. So I think you're going to get very creative. Director Gilson's been active in this space for many years, and I think she's going to have some really great suggestions on strategies that you can all deploy moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, if I can ask a follow-up, is there, it's kind of a corollary to my other question, and that is, will the database be accessible, say by Ms. Gilson, okay, that if we wish to add other data points that we could do that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, once we're done, we're going to turn over the whole data set to the city, so you're going to have that.
Right, but it's not going to be locked or...
No, and you'll be able to refresh it anyway. We can send it in a shapefile or however best that the city wants to use it to incorporate it into your existing database.
It's just the way my mind works.
Yeah.
Additional
Great
comments,
question.
Commissioner? If not, well, thank you, Mr. Zone, and Mr. Marty, thanks for the presentation, and we look forward to your next chapter.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Any residents with comments regarding tonight's agenda items, please step to the podium and share with us your name and address and your agenda item comments.
Hi, my name is Talib Garrett, 512 Scott Street, and I'm questioning item 1. I think that for red flags, bad business. I did a little digging, and the $150,000 to give to a company, to a bank, a Lorraine bank, to average out 10 employees, that's about $23,000. That's still below poverty. So I don't know where you see how that would help out the community. And plus, that Lorraine Bank already got a secure loan. So if it goes out, the other bank get the money first before the city get the money back in return. And plus the letter said it will hire 10 to 15, like 15 to 18 people, on the top of my head. And the loan was for 6 full-time hires. And I'm wondering why, if they didn't say they'll get 10 to 18 people, why you do the loan forgiveness down for 6 full-time hires? And that's my only questions for item 1.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. We'll attempt to answer those questions as that legislation comes before us.
West Pool, 1939 East Oldgate. With regard to the property survey, would you consider asking them, and I looked at their slides, that they give us as much information as they can by neighborhood? We have neighborhoods named, and what was on the slide with regard to trash pickup by ward, I recognize that it is of value being able to identify neighborhood things, and we can use neighborhoods instead of wards, since we do have geographical areas and names that we gave them. So if you say, think about that and let us know. Give us consideration. I thought that was fine. Likewise, the portion dealing with out-of-state ownership, if they can fine-tune that to just outside the city, I think that might be a little more detailed information that might be of value, so folks want to discuss whether or not you want to do it. The other, item B, it refers to some court case that I couldn't find. I wanted to read it, so all I'm really asking is just, would you give a thumbnail sketch of what it's talking about? We're paying some law firm some money on item B, and if you would, a reference that I can actually look up, because I'd like to read that case. I couldn't find it.
What item was that, Mr. Poole?
Item B, in the,
Okay. Yeah.
just what it is, and if you want to send me a link to, so I can read it, would be fine. I do have some thoughts on item 1. I don't know anything about what is or is not a great business decision, but I did have some questions that weren't included in information. It says it will attract an additional 20 to 25,000 visitors. That seems like a big number of additional people that are going to go to what amounts to what appears a cafe that sells coffee and sandwiches. And the only thing I'm asking is just how'd you come to the conclusion? And based on Shores and Islands told me so, just really doesn't seem to be enough to make this believable. So whatever it is, the staff researched and came up and said that we're going to see 25,000 new people show up in Sandusky because we open this business would be appreciated. Additionally, the terms of the loan with regard to the portion where after 5 years you're going to, it says commission can forgive the loan. Based on adding 6 entry-level employees, when you break that down by, if you would just, since you didn't give the information, why is it you think that's a reasonable return on investment of the $158,000 through whether it's taxes that we take in, which is about $3,000 a year for 5 years, and perhaps just tie forgiving these loans to something else of more value. I don't know whether $1.5 million, $1.5 million of revenue is a reasonable reason, but just some discussion about that. I have no problem with opening this business and loaning them the money to get started, but I do think we should get more back than 10% of what we put into it, based on even if it's successful, what the taxes will bring in. And again, I question the validity of the assertion, since that's what they made, what the Planning Commission made it's what they based the loan on and approved it before they sent it to you. So other than that, that's kind of what I wanted you to do. Make me believe this was that it's worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Additional comments on agenda items? Commissioners, you have before you several communications from staff recommending various pieces of legislation. Can I have a motion to accept those communications?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion. Without objection, that motion will be approved, and hearing no objection, that motion is approved. Commissioners, we have 7 items on the consent agenda this evening. Do any of you wish to move any of these items to the regular agenda? Ms. Murray, will you present the consent agenda?
Item A, new liquor license for Paddle and Climb LLC. Item B, approval for payment to Rotzell and Andrus LPA for professional services. Item C, approval of appropriation amendment number 2. Item D, approval of payment to Johnson Controls for software support of city access controls. Item E, approval of land bank purchase and sale agreements of Pipe Street property. Item F, approval of change order number 1 and final for Mills Creek Golf Course Trail with Jagger Construction. Item G, approval to dispose of unneeded item.
Commissioners, having heard this liquor license hearing request and ordinances, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Murray.
I move for the adoption of the items on the consent agenda, including the motion in item A and the balance of the items B through F pursuant to section 14 of the city's charter. I'm sorry, B through G.
Second.
Then a motion and a second. Discussion. Wonder if Mr. Orzak, who would be prepared to answer the question that we had regarding, there's a question regarding item B? Cost of the legal fees?
Mr. Hastings would be
Because
able
there are
to.
legal fees, we'll let the law director answer.
Yes, yeah, that's related to the litigation regarding the roundabout that ODOT would like us to build where Cedar Point Drive meets Cleveland Road. And a couple of the property owners we've taken them to litigation because they won't agree to the appraised price. And actually, one of them is scheduled for trial next week.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Ms. Murray, will you call the motion, call the roll on that motion, please?
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
And now on that liquor license hearing and the ordinances.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That liquor license hearing is and the ordinances are approved. Ms. Murray, will you present item number 1, please?
It is requested an ordinance be passed authorizing and approving a substantial development loan in the amount of $150,000 through the Economic Development Assistance Program to Korobkin Hospitality Group, LLC, in relation to the property located at 207 West Washington Row, and declaring that this ordinance shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this ordinance, how do you wish to proceed?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
I
Waddington.
move for the adoption of this ordinance under suspension of the rules in full accordance with Section 14 of the City Charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Ms. Gilson, I think you probably are most qualified to explain the terms of our undertaking here and explain perhaps a couple of questions. One regarded the full-time employees, why we use 6 instead of what the applicant claimed, and perhaps you can talk a little bit about their prognosis on visitors.
Absolutely. So the reason that we are requiring the creation of 6 positions is in our guidelines. It states for every $25,000 loaned into a project, they must create 1 job. So per our guidelines, that's what we hold them accountable for. If this commission wants to increase that, that's certainly your pleasure to do so. And we could make that part of their loan agreement.
And in this case, the applicant believes they'll employ more people.
Yes, they do.
But our guidelines require 1 per 25,000.
Absolutely.
Excellent, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the visitorship, this is information that the applicants provided to us. And if you take the amount of events that they project to hold at the venue, as well as visitors, they project, or they are expected to attract an additional 20 to 25,000 visitors per year. So for instance, if there's 150 people attending a wedding from out of town, and that happens 40 times over the year, that's 6,000 visitors to the area. And then you add in those that are coming to shop, those that are coming to eat, those that are coming to have a beverage, you could quickly get up to 20,000 visitors.
And I don't think it was ever the applicant's intention to get us to believe that just their establishment were bringing 25,000 people here. Certainly the people that are here for a variety of other reasons are going to wander in and out of their store, hopefully, and purchase something.
That is correct.
Makes sense. Additional comments or questions, Commissioner? Mr. Crable.
Just a point of clarification, this is not Lorraine Bank or
It is
what
not.
have you. This is a private developer, private owner who has history in our community and owns it. They purchased it from
That is correct.
Lorraine.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Additional comments or questions, Commissioner?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to just add a little bit more to that, too. It's a family who's had 2 successful businesses already providing in our community to our community members and residents, and they have a strong track record of being successful. So that also has a lot to do with it. And also, going forward, this is before I arrived here on the commission, this is a new opportunity to receive funds to start a business, which does have a little bit of, you have to have some skin in the game now to have us agree to providing money to community members for businesses. There used to be programs where grants went and things went defunct and that money was gone, and now those days are over. So I appreciate us going about it this way, so thank you.
And I think what Commissioner Varga was pointing out is now we have a clawback provision, and provided the applicant meets their obligations, then we will certainly consider forgiving that loan. If for some reason they leave town, the business fails prior to that 5 years, we have a chance to get some of those dollars back.
Correct.
Additional comments, Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Murray?
I'm going to abstain. I don't normally know who the lender is involved with these various projects, but it indicates that in the communication, so for that reason, I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Murray, will you poll the commission on that motion, please?
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Abstain.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Crable?
Yes.
And now on the ordinance.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Abstain.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That ordinance is passed. Ms. Murray, will you present item number 2?
It is requested an ordinance be passed authorizing and approving a substantial development loan in the amount of $58,867 through the Economic Development Assistance Program to RDMJD LLC in relation to the property located at 2101 West Perkins Ave, and declaring that this ordinance shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this ordinance, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Coons?
move for approval of this ordinance under item 2 in full accordance with section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Ms. Murray, will you poll the commission on that motion, please?
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
And now on the ordinance.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That ordinance is passed. Ms. Murray, we present item number 3.
It is requested a resolution be passed declaring the necessity for the city to proceed with the proposed 2025 Community Development Block Grant Street Rehabilitation Project, approving the specification and engineer's estimate of cost thereof, and directing the city manager to advertise for, receive bids in relation to, and declaring that this resolution shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this resolution, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt this ordinance or this resolution in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Murray?
this question is really directed to Mr. Klein, I think, or maybe Ms. Reeder. This, I assume, is money that we have in the bank from prior CDBG grants. My understanding is there's some question about whether there will be CDBG grants going forward. That's correct? We already have this money?
I believe this is next program year, starting July 1st, 2025 dollars. So we're trying to bid this now so that we can award when the funding comes in place for July 1st of 2025.
And Mr. Mayor, I believe the good news is I did receive a letter this last week that we will be receiving not the entire amount, but within like $10,000 of the total amount that we'd applied for. It's around $699,000.
Yeah, it's about $8,000 shy of what
8,000
we...
short.
Okay, thank you.
Additional comments or questions? Ms. Murray, you poll the commission on that motion, please.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
And now on the resolution.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Pajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That resolution is passed. Ms. Murray, we present item number 4.
It is requested a resolution be passed declaring the necessity for the city to proceed with the proposed 2025 park paving project, approving the specification and engineer's estimate of cost thereof, and directing the city manager to advertise for and receive bids in relation thereto, and declaring that this resolution take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this resolution, how do you wish to proceed?
Chairman,
Mr. Grable.
I move approval of this resolution in full accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Got a motion and a second discussion. Mr. Klein, I wonder if you could or perhaps you have before you. If you do not, it's okay, but I wonder if you could give us a list of the areas that we're going to be paving for that. I thought it was meaningful when I read it.
Yes. So this year, we are almost rounding out all of our parks and property paving projects that we've been trying to do very aggressively over the last several years. The first one would be the east parking lot at Kiwanis Park. The second one would be the remainder of Shoreline Park. So that would be the main parking lot and then a little bit of the drive that goes up to the turnaround. The next one that's on the list, it says Maritime Museum and Surf's Up parking lot. That's really the portion of the property on the southwest corner of that large parking lot is owned by the city. And we're paving that portion of the parking lot. It's really the eastern half of that parking lot is owned by the city. The next one would be the skate park. We paved quite a bit of that parking lot, the second parking lot away from the Justice Center, and there's a little piece that goes back, and since that is being used a lot more now, there's a piece of it that's in really bad shape, and then as it goes around the back side of the skate park, we're leaving that back part of the skate park because that's still in good shape, and that parking lot is still fine, but that drive that gets to there is really rutted up. And the last one is pretty interesting. It's actually the Washington Street Pier. We're going to be putting asphalt down over the concrete. What we've been doing is we've been putting chip seal down on a lot of these concrete streets, filling in the voids, and it really creates a nice smooth surface for us to pave on. What we're doing here, and it's because of mostly construction techniques and because it's a little narrower than what you want for multiple vehicles and other pieces of equipment. We're going to use a geotextile fabric to put that down, and then we're going to go and pave over top of that. So that'll bridge all the gaps and bridge all the structural issues that you see, that reflective cracking. So there's only a couple more parking lots throughout the city that hopefully we'll get over the next few years, but we've been really aggressive in trying to get these parking lots moving forward and making sure that we're keeping the city properties up to where the residents expect.
Mr. Klein, did I read correctly that the last time that Washington Street Pier was paved was 1933?
That is what it says, yes.
And if that's the case, I hope that the next paving will last at least that long.
If not, then come back to me and let me know.
I'll be glad to do that. Additional comments or questions, Commissioners? Ms. Murray, you poll the commission on that motion.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr.
And-
Grable?
Yes.
And now on the resolution.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That resolution is passed. Ms. Murray, you present our last item, item number 5.
It is requested a resolution be passed declaring the necessity for the city to proceed with the proposed 2025 sewer lining project and approving the specifications and engineer's estimate of cost thereof, and directing the city manager to advertise for and receive bids in relation thereto, and declaring that this resolution shall take immediate effect in accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Commissioners, having heard this resolution, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Grable.
I move approval of this resolution in full accordance with Section 14 of the city charter.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Ms. Murray, you poll the commission on that motion.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
And now on the resolution.
Ms. Fargo?
Yes.
Mr. Waddington?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bajali?
Yes.
Mr. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Grable?
Yes.
That resolution is passed. That concludes our regular agenda. We'll turn to our city manager for his report.
Good evening, Commissioners, audience, and staff. I have a donation for rec. Jessica and Joyce Selmer donated 400 popsicles and 60 juice boxes for summer break camp. And Heather West for donating crayons and craft supplies for summer break camp. If we get a motion to accept those donations.
Second.
Been a motion and a second discussion. Without objection, the motion will be approved. And hearing no objection, that motion is approved with our thanks for the popsicles, juice boxes, and crayons.
Beginning next Monday, June 2nd, Sandusky City Hall will operate under new hours, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. This change aligns the hours of key City Hall offices, including customer accounting, building, and code compliance, to improve service and reduce confusion. Public Works two-way traffic was restored on Columbus Ave prior to the Memorial Day holiday and will be maintained for the duration of the project. Electric lighting and punch list work will continue until the project is completed. Special thanks to local Boy Scout Troop Number 8 for volunteering to place flags at veterans' grave sites at Oakland Cemetery prior to the Memorial Day ceremony. The contractor installing sidewalks along and resurfacing East Perkins Ave plans to begin construction the week of June 9th. Don't travel that way. Sandusky Public Art and Culture Commission has supported a new mural project by Derek Brennan at 314 West Market Street entitled Steel to Shoreline, A Century of Progress, Preservation, and Pride in Sandusky, Ohio. The mural will depict 4 significant areas of history and be painted in newspaper format to tie to the historic Sandusky Register building. 2 other projects supported by the Arts Commission are in the pipeline, including an art box titled Starry Sandusky by Kylie Frederick at the corner of Columbus and West Park, and a community mosaic mural with live painting events led by Darian Shepard titled Pieces of Sandusky. That concludes my report for this evening. I'll take any questions.
Comments or questions for the city manager?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Bajali.
I got a call from somebody who left me a message and commented that they were out at Oakland Cemetery and there weren't any flags on Civil War veterans. I did talk to Mr. Orzak about that, and he took care of that situation. I believe it was a lack of communication.
Yeah, they were given specific graves and markers back in that area. It got brought to our attention. We had it corrected before the Memorial Day ceremony. But we do appreciate, we have a long-standing history with the Boy Scout troops and doing that work. They put quite a few flags out there, so we appreciate their efforts.
And one other question, Mr. Chairman, for the manager. I went out to the recycling center and it was closed on Sunday. That's happened to me a few times. But I did get a call. Somebody was upset because they weren't aware of it. And I wondered is there any sort of a notification process that we might be able to put in place, Facebook or the website or something when that recycling center overflows and has to be closed?
Yeah, we had an extensive conversation today about that, and we're going to end up putting it on the website. There's a specific website area for the recycling center, so we'll put it on there. My understanding is that we've only had one incident recently in the last 6 months that the recycling center was closed. It happens generally on the holiday weekend, so we will have either close it and make notification ahead of time, or work with the Rumpke and the recycling center. There's in the contract there's a section where we could ask them to do an extra pickup on the holiday weekends. So we'll work on that. We just close it down because the folks will just dump all the material outside the dumpsters, and which becomes then having to clean up that. I know the chief was watching it a year or two ago, and we were having significant problems. It's improved tremendously over the last year, so we'll keep our eye on it. We'll have a communication strategy, but appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Mr. Chairman, I have noticed that since Rumpke took over the contract, it has been better, and I appreciate the information, Mr. Orzak.
Mr. Waddington, sounds like you have something.
I did. I had the same call that he had about the Civil War, and I thought she said Spanish-American War to me, but I let John, when I got a hold of you that day, I want to thank you for every time, as far as city manager, and I've been around the block down here a long time, I call him And if he doesn't answer, he gets back within probably a half hour, and I think most of us up here can agree at that. That's really big, that you can contact, because I didn't know who to call, for the flags, or, different, I probably call you once a week when folks call me. So I'm going to post all the commissioners' cell phone numbers on them.
Just don't ask for a raise, John.
Sometimes I have to take care of my grandkids, and they take precedence, but I try to get back quickly.
Additional questions or comments for the city manager?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Murray?
Well, we have to have this conversation someplace, so we might as well have it here. This is our annual or semi-annual discussion regarding fireworks. It's a bane in our community, and the competing considerations are this. We, as a city, under Ohio law, are perfectly entitled to forbid anyone from shooting off fireworks any place at any time. The law that is currently on our books is one that says that on certain days of the year, like Memorial Day, like the days surrounding that, like the 4th of July, the days surrounding like that people are allowed to use consumer-grade fireworks, not what's being used in too many communities. And they're allowed to use them between 4 and midnight, not 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. We would all love to live in a community that's free of that nuisance. It's a terrible effect on people with veterans, particularly veterans, and others with PTSD, on pets, on people who are just dependent upon sleep the next day, and it's a scourge on our community. I wish that we had the ability to effectively outlaw it, because you want to go shoot off the fireworks, go watch Cedar Point or go out in the country or whatever. But we can't. It's just a practical reality that by the, we spend a lot of police resources. I'm sure Chief Oliver is going to tell us a little bit about that in a moment, trying to chase these folks down. But by the time you're there, 30 seconds later, they're gone. And if fireworks go off, it doesn't say this was, Bill Smith who set off these fireworks. There's no way to know. And so, we have laws out there, and I think the most important thing we can do is to communicate, Mr. Horstman, what those limitations are, and talk to folks about how difficult it is for our neighbors to endure all of this, and to really encourage people to just use the consumer-grade fireworks between 4 and midnight on the days it is permitted. But I don't think it's a great idea to ban it in the city of Sandusky when we don't have the realistic ability to enforce it. I worry that we just encourage people to disregard laws in general when we pass laws that we know law enforcement can enforce. And I think we discourage our law enforcement officers when we ask them to do things that just simply can't be done. So it's a quandary. I don't think there's a good answer other than to appeal to our neighbors as neighbors. Act like neighbors, would you please? Thank you.
Mr. Murray, Bill Smith is my brother-in-law.
I was referring to the Bill Smith who passed away.
I see, okay. Additional items of old business. Mr. Cravel.
Mr. Chairman, first, I come to you with profound thank yous from the neighborhood that surrounds 1528 Columbus Avenue. They are thrilled to see that property down, and it came down today. One gentleman that I spoke to simply couldn't find the words to how grateful, because it has been really holding back that area of town, that little neighborhood there. So thank you to everyone who's been involved. I know our legal department was almost endlessly involved. So thanks to one and all on that. If I may, Mr. Chairman, on another point, there was a question asked earlier about data and being able to look at data by area of the city. I will just throw this out to Ms. Gilson and others. I think we can use geofencing software to pretty much call up any section of the city that we want. And so long as there's geolocating data associated with each of the parcels. And so I submit to you, maybe that is an important addition to the database. So are we under old business here?
We're under old business, yes.
All right, if I may.
Go ahead.
One more thing. Where are we, just for the public's knowledge, where are we with the topic that was brought up 2 weeks ago about better lighting, cameras, and flock cameras?
Mr. Orzak?
Yeah, so the city and county had partnered up and sent a request to Shores and Islands for flock camera funding. We're waiting on one of the boards to meet to hear those results. So the chief and sheriff had locations that they wanted those, and so that's the funding source that we submitted to at this point. As far as the lights, our facilities supervisor is looking at the parking lot lights with Ms. Reeder and others to see if we can upgrade the lighting in that area. We have some funding through, that's already in place for that, so that's that. As far as a significant amount of investment in cameras, that's going to be a long discussion and project. There's significant issues with the cameras have to be hardwired and server somewhere and things like that, so locations and all of that are going to have to be figured out, plus costs. So that's a significantly longer discussion, but the flock camera process is moving. We've already got quotes and locations for that, and the lighting's getting looked at.
And if I might just interject on the last two topics of cameras and lighting, maybe that's a kind of a joint consideration. If we're looking for locations for better lighting, maybe the cameras go along with that. Just a random thought.
Mr. Orzak, I understand that you signed a letter partnering with the county on attempting to acquire funds from Shores and Islands on this. I think this commission is certainly in favor of technology, but I think there's a few questions yet that remain about that. I guess the main question I would ask is, we're not going to be dependent upon Shores and Islands funding this if, say, they choose to not fund it? Can we afford to do this ourselves?
We could find the funds. It's about $120,000, I think, was the cost for cameras. The problem isn't always with the funding mechanism for the initial. It's the cost to continue the services is near $50,000 a year.
It's like a subscription charge for that?
Yeah, so with everything comes at a cost. So the initial startup is costly, but
easy to buy the horse, hard
the subscription for however long you want to maintain those is other conversations.
I just am not optimistic that that's going to be funded by Shores and Islands, and I think perhaps for very good reason. I'm not sure that it is tied enough to tourism-related dollars, which is where their funds come from. But I want to reiterate that I think it's this commission's resolve that if we're not funded by them, then we'll find the money. We can and should be embracing technology to its fullest.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. I know the chief applied for some funding from the state, and I think it might be getting some potential funding from that that he got notification from last week. So we will we'll make it happen. If we can get the money from Shores and Islands, that's our preference.
Right.
Thank you. Additional items, old business. Items of new business. Any items of new business, Commissioners?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Coops.
Just a couple comments real quickly. Right before coming here, I attended the ribbon cutting for the Aquatic Center, and it was beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. And as I sat there for the ceremony, a few thoughts came to mind, and the primary thought was, what will this look like as it relates to community use? And it made me think of how is that process going to unfold? What will it look like in terms of how we determine what community use is? When will it be? There are all these questions, and so I'm hoping that we'll get some details about that, because those are the kinds of questions that I feel from people all the time, right, who are curious about that. They're curious about the process. They're curious about what community use will look like. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out there, because it's beautiful. And folks who were involved in, I believe, Commissioner Crable and others and foundations were involved in bringing that to fruition. I just hope that we really find a way to make sure that community use is what we claimed it would be. So it's just a comment that I wanted to make.
Additional items of new business.
If I might just interject in response to my friend Richard. Community use has been central to everything that happened along the way in terms of fundraising and planning and whatnot. What I would note is that I think you will probably see more information forthcoming from the party that has been retained by the school district to operate the pool, and that's the Erie County Health Department.
Excellent. Additional items of new business? Now we'll move to the resident section. Any residents with comments regarding tonight's, well, really any comment regarding the city of Sandusky, please step to the podium and share with us your thoughts.
Pool, 1939 East Oldgate. I get progress grows out of, we don't always agree with outcomes. I did want to say from your own paperwork, Mr. Murray, the paperwork that I copied on that loan for the market around the corner, it says Savista. I don't know if that means the bank or not, but it says Savista. It is one of the sources of income to answer that. What I said before was just to bring your attention to the something, just for the example. I'd actually like you to take a deeper look at the Economic Development Committee in terms of the way business is done. The explanation that was given about the 20 to 25,000 visitors, it was adequate, but just didn't quite sit as well with me. I think that the bank, the owner, each make money on their investment. 6%, I think, is about the going rate for money for the bank loan. They've opened the business with the intention of making some money. And we, as a community, considering the state of businesses, trying to start businesses here, should be getting something for the money that we invest in this endeavor. And that's really was my point. And her explanation that says that with regard to for every $25,000 that they add a job for grants, and we made those numbers up. That's our policy. I'm suggesting that our program needs to be reevaluated so that the citizens get a little bit more for their buck for what we're doing. If nothing else, we should get some of this 150, whatever the amount of money that they've given out in this larger, over $150,000, so that we can turn it over and put it back into another business. The idea that somehow or another the taxpayers are supposed to add $150,000 to the personal accounts of someone who's willing to take a chance on a business. If the business becomes successful, and I don't even care if you give them a 0% loan and a long term to pay it back, but the concept of we're going to draw $15,000 to $20,000 worth of income tax out of it, start some entry-level jobs, of which Erie County, or this area, we've got help wanted signs for entry-level jobs all over town. So that's not a plus, adding 6 entry-level jobs to this community. There's help wanted signs all over. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can figure out that gives us a better bang for our buck, a better return on our investment. And I'm not here to lecture you on that, but I think the systems that you got set up now, where it appears, and she did not, I gave her a chance, we didn't elaborate on how much Sandusky citizens get back for the money they invested. So that's what I'm looking for, somebody to say 6 entry-level jobs that give us about $300 a piece in interest a year on a loan that big. The loan shouldn't be forgiven. I recognize that the wording is there, that in 5 years the commission may do this. I'm not comfortable with that. What you're measuring eligibility for forgiving the loan is just, it tells me that there's really no intention to get our money back. That's what it indicates to me. So that's really what I'm talking about. I think the program needs to be reexamined.
Thank you, Mr. Poole.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that the $25,000 for full-time equivalent jobs is probably based on what the state has in place for their loan programs. And before I got on the commission and after I got on the commission, for years, we were giving away money with no strings attached. And you were part of that.
Mr. Bajali,
Okay.
Yeah, this section of the agenda is meant for
Comment
residents to
on?
give us their
All
thoughts,
right.
and it's not meant to be a question and answer.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Poole.
My 5 minutes used, because I'll give you some more thoughts.
Additional comments from the residents on any item pertaining to city business?
The hypocrisy of
It is.
Live Garrett, 512 Scott Street, and about item 1, I did the math, and it's 13 cents you get back from $1 from the loan you gave. So for 5 years, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. 5 years is like $20,000 you get back in city income tax if they hire 10 full employees for $26,000. And I still think that's kind of bad business because you're losing $130,000 off of issue 8 money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. No further comments. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned.